We're going to check our mics on this Monday because it's your captain coach. Need a mic check. To the right of me. Who going to check their mic?
Caleb Rashad.
Who going to check their mic to the left?
Nisha Mishley.
And we are talking about...
What we talking about?
Honey, we're talking about situationships. Previous recording, I did pick on Caleb, but that's none of our business to put his business.
She wanted me to open it, talking about some. I think you should open it because you know a little bit about that, huh?
How is everybody doing?
What are you trying to say, Mama?
Giving honor to how everybody's doing.
Mercy.
We talking about situationships, right? Situationships.
Yeah, we are.
I was just asking how has everybody been?
Oh, that's right.
All right.
All right. How you been?
Working.
Yeah.
Per usual.
Got me working day and night.
Yep.
Yeah. Shout out to the working people who are working and still podcasting and still multitasking. Shout out to everybody. Did you have a decent week? Decent few days?
Yeah.
You good?
It's been chill.
You good?
I've been doing good. I'm proud of myself. I've been eating at home consistently. Healthy.
She came in here with a whole lunch bag, y'all.
Yes, I packed my food today.
I didn't.
Caleb shared a study with me, some type of study or something that said you have to eat at least I think it was 25 to 35 vegetables a week or something like that. So I've just been, tasking myself with incorporating veggies in all my meals basically.
Listen,
2 snaps for her veggies.
I'm like, listen, I'll get them in when I can. Okay.
Today I had a burger and fry. Normally I'm like you. I pack my meals. I do everything. But shout out to your wellness journey. In this episode today, as y'all are watching, they define
into something a little bit more toxic.
Yeah, they define situationships as a casual, non-committal romantic relationship that lacks clear definitions and boundaries.
Confusion.
Tension. All
Chaos.
of the
above. I don't even know how to even angle.
Can we relate to this personally, Caleb?
I love how they just aiming at me. Don't be high-fiving that. What are you doing?
Tell the people.
I feel like everybody can relate to situationships because I feel like some situationships are intentional and some just kind of turn into situationships.
I don't know if situationships can be intentional by definition. I feel like it's just something that is bred from unequal stances and in a relationship basically.
See, I'm just going back and forth.
Well, I feel like it's just basically it's one. Usually the situation is one person desires commitment and they're probably sticking around in hopes that the person will change their mind, and then the other person is just more so kind of taking advantage of the situation. They're here, so.
But then I also know people where they both are very aware of what.
But I feel like that's more casual. That's a casual relationship because.
Audience, do y'all feel something wrong with situationships?
I'm not. Who am I to say situationships are wrong or right?
Right. I'm just saying, by definition, it literally says it refers to a connection between two people that fall somewhere between friendship and a committed partnership. So it's literally limbo.
Yeah.
So I feel like there has to be a limbo-ness to the relationship with two people who are just casually engaging with one another, and there's an understanding.
Those two people casually engage in other situationships or partnerships, or is it just
if you are someone who is dating casually and you make that clear to everyone that you're engaging with, then that's you're dating casually.
Okay, so do you consider for lack of better terms a F buddy? Is that a situationship?
No, I feel like that's a friends with benefits. I feel like a situationship specifically is y'all are playing house with no commitment, no title, no, you know what I mean? But you guys you're basically in a relationship. You just haven't given it a title because one person probably wants
that's
one.
What friends with benefits is too.
That's an agreement. That's a mutually agreed upon thing. We're just messing around and that's it. That's mutually agreed upon. Whereas situationship is like one person wants something and the other person is not willing to give it, but we'll mess around. We'll take advantage of the situation with our own interior motives. I'm hoping that you will change your mind. And the other person is just, she keeps coming or he keeps coming, so I'm just gonna take advantage of the situation.
All of it is just muddy territory.
That's why it's situationship.
And I can't mess with it. I can't do situationships. I can't do friends with benefits. Like,
but have you
tested
ever,
and tried, trial and
Yeah.
error. Yes.
I feel like,
and it just doesn't work. It never works out.
I feel like it's more so something that's stumbled into because of your own internal reasons. Like usually one person is wanting commitment, the other person is usually not wanting commitment for whatever reason, but they're willing to continue the situation. They're willing to stay in the situation because it's like they're getting something out of it.
I also feel too, either with hump buddies or situationships,
hump buddies.
They're still
FWBs.
They're right. F dubs. There's still emotional connections that go
I feel like there can be. I feel like inevitably it always arises.
I think this is some other connection.
That's just my that's my personal opinion. Is just like you can never engage in anything casually for too long. I feel like after a while, emotions will come into play. Mm-hmm. So these things always have a shelf life. In my personal opinion. But with situationships in particular, I feel like they're more kind of like stumbled into because of two people's unclear, intentions. One person is usually acting like they're okay with being titleless or whatever, knowing full well that they're not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whereas the other person is just maybe they usually they can sense that the other person is wanting more. But they're like, well, I've made it clear that I didn't want anything more, so I'm not at fault. That's how they're justifying staying in the situation. But you could
what's the time frame for?
I was just about to ask that because you said like what phrase did you use? A shelf
life.
A shelf life, right? She be coming up with all the metaphors and I think a shelf life. Okay, so how long? Because situationships be lasting like 5-6 years, like.
Well, that's people just sticking around to like, what are you waiting around for? Like, I don't know. I don't want to be judgmental, but it's like being in a situationship for like 5 and 6 years is just like, why are you putting on the clown suit and joining the circus? I'm sorry, was that?
She got an amen corner.
Right, she got an amen corner. She said, in the back. She said,
right. I heard that.
Was that okay?
So
was that too harsh?
The reason why I feel like people stay, I'm finna really get into some things.
Ooh, lordy.
God.
So, the reason why I feel like people stay in situationships for like long periodically time, is soul ties. Yeah, right. That's a whole nother thing, though. That's a whole nother thing. And I feel like a lot of people do not believe in soul ties.
How would you define a soul tie?
I feel like
people who don't know what that is.
A soul tie is, let's be frank, a soul tie happens when you like in sexual intercourse with somebody, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people just think, fucking is fucking, like it's just for pleasure. But I feel like it's something like deeper happening. Like when you're like doing that, I just feel like it's like a mental thing happening.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that's why I say that casual situations have shelf lives, because intimacy, and sexual intimacy.
I feel like I did not explain that very well.
No, you did. I feel like sexual intimacy, it breeds like emotional attachment inevitably. Especially in a continued process. And that's basically in and of itself like a soul tie. Like you were connected to this person intimately without the verbal, confirmation of a commitment.
Yeah, like even if you're saying like, oh, this is just, for fun. Like,
but I feel like every partnership starts off as a situationship to me. Because y'all.
No, I feel like that. I feel like you're dating.
But when you first start, exchanging numbers, DMs, whatever we exchange, right? You don't just go in and be like, step 1, we're going to date for 2 weeks. Step 2. Sometimes I think it has to have like an evolving. Things have to evolve.
I feel like it's just a feeling. And sometimes the feeling is not like the feelings aren't always necessarily reciprocated. That happens all the time.
True.
But yeah, I just feel like there's, talking stages, and then there's dating. When you start to actually go out on activities, you're communicating consistently.
Okay.
And then inevitably you get to a point, and this point is usually different for everybody, whether it's a month, 2 months, 6 months, whatever your number is or your feeling is at the time. I don't feel like there's like necessarily a deadline. I feel like it's ultimately up to like the people.
Yeah, it's a feeling.
But
so how long would you say is too long? Y'all even are
that is
viewers?
Literally up to the individual, because sometimes
individual or individuals,
and it depends on the situation, because sometimes it is reciprocated, and you guys are on the same wavelength, and then you are able to go forth. But sometimes you hit an impasse when the two people are not on the same.
Yeah, one person may be ready, the other person may not be.
So
but
you've reached a fork in the road.
Like,
Are you going to go down a road together? Are you going to?
Yeah, separate.
If I gotta tell on Caleb's self,
what?
Okay,
what?
me. I think that's where I get. Because after being in the union for so long, I think when I did started to date again, right? Okay. I mean, I put all my business out there, but after my long-term relationship, I just went on a F-dub frenzy.
Right.
It was like, ding dong, let me just figure it out, right? Like, what am I looking for? And at some point, I was just like, okay, I need to slow down, because it's not to be narcissistic, but sometimes people catch a body for you that you're not ready to give back in return, right? They start catching feelings for you. And going in, I only wanted a F-dub. That was it. But then sometimes, with these personality traits and charisma and all these things that we've been blessed with, people sometimes start to have stronger emotions than what you're ready for. So I think for me, when I did started like, okay, because remember I went on my sabbatical. I went on a timeout. And when I did start getting back into the scene, it was like, I get an opportunity to choose what I want. Does that make sense? And I think sometimes we come up with these terms like situationships and F-buddies and all these things, but I think society makes us move so swiftly. And if you're not moving fast enough, if you're not getting engaged, and right after 6 to 12 months of engagement, if you're not married, it's just like everything has such an expiration date. But I think I'm on both sides.
Yeah, well, honestly, I feel like both parties in the situationship are culpable in a way. And the way that, and the person that you're referring to, the way that they hold themselves accountable is to remove themselves to no longer string somebody. That's where I feel the responsibility lies, is to remove yourself to no longer string somebody along when you know that you're no longer aligned.
There was moments where I did have like alignment ideals, like,
alignment ideals ain't alignment.
I did, but like I really foresaw myself. But I think
idealism ain't alignment.
2 snaps for that. I think oftentimes when that happens after you've been in a union for so long, there's like this skepticism. Sometimes it's a fear. Sometimes it's a phobia, to where you kind of like pull back a little bit. You don't want to rush right into it. But a lot of times, a lot of people aren't coming into situations after being in a union for so long. Some people haven't dated in a while. Some people are on a short-term journey, right? So as soon as they get with you, they're ready to suck you all in, which is not a bad thing, right? But at some point, it was just like, let me figure this out.
That's why I'm like, when was your last relationship, babe?
I think that's so important, right?
What?
Oh, shoot. To really see, like, is that a question to ask? Like, when was your last relationship? Because people who haven't been in a relationship for months or years,
I feel like that's worth. Here's the thing. I feel like some people just put unrealistic ideals onto somebody that they just want to latch onto, because I feel like people operate from a lack mindset. Like, I done already put invested this energy into this one person, and I, kind of just want to like continue hoping on a wing and a prayer. But I just think that people need to be honest with themselves about where they are, and it would save people so much time and energy. And I feel like that is how you end up stumbled into a situation. It comes from unalignment. By definition, it's just two people that aren't aligned in how they want to move forward in the relationship that they're in.
I don't even have nothing to say. I also feel too that communication in any type of ship, relationship, situationship, partnership, whatever ship you own, I just feel like
honest and direct communication.
Yeah, but you know,
but it needs to be a reciprocal communication, not like, where do we stand? What is this? What are we doing? You know, because I feel like if we were doing something as a cohesive, movement, we'd both be able to have that understanding, you know. But I think so many times in these ships, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of social media pressure where you start seeing like couples goals or power couples and all those things. I'm just making excuses because
that's what I was thinking in my head. I said these sound like excuses.
Well, I know that's where the responsibility comes into.
Yeah.
You have to remove yourself because you guys are not
selfish.
aligned.
Yeah.
It is. You're not ultimately you're not aligned. Exactly. And if you don't want to say that, that's okay, but you have to be willing to also let go. That's what I feel like one person is hopeful, the other is selfish. If I'm keeping it a buck.
People are scared to hurt other people's feelings.
That's true too. Yes.
Okay, so let me ask
adults,
this now. In December,
I don't want to waste your time. Don't waste my time.
In December, I'll be 42, right? So a lot of people at my stage have children already, and for me not to have children, people say I have a very free life, even though I do a lot, right? I don't have a lot of free time because the roles that I play. But I think when you are in a ship with a person who has kids, I think that even makes it a little bit more difficult because now you're going to be on this journey, not just with the person, you're going to be on the journey with their children as well. That's a lot to take in. And just to be like, do you want to go out with me? Circle yes, no, or the maybe box. And I think for me, I can't speak for my teammates. For me, that's
because I ain't have no kids no time soon.
Right. And I think for me, that's a little difficult because it's like, I can want you all day, right? Yeah. But now I have to learn how to be a partner, a potential co-parent. Not that you can't parent your kids, but for me, it's like I have to learn the family dynamics.
Yeah. Well, I just think that you have to know yourself and know yourself going into a situation. There are some people who don't even want to date people with kids.
But that's almost impossible.
I mean, if that's what they want, that's what they want. You know what I mean? And then age plays a factor too, because of course you're more likely to come across people who would have more kids as opposed to Caleb,
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just all of these things come into play, but I think it's a matter of going into a situation knowing who you are, number one, number two, where you stand, and just being honest about that.
Facts.
Knowing who you are.
I like that. I also like
a lot of y'all don't know who you are, and I'm not trying to clock your tea. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I also like too that we are having this discussion because I think this is one of those topics it's a very taboo topic. Because you could be watching this right now with your bae and they're like,
Right.
Oh, see, Lord. That's why we don't have no time.
We are not trying to start no
we
arguments.
Are not.
We are not trying to break up happy homes
or apartments.
Don't bring social commentary into your relationship,
right?
In a negative way.
Think that these are moments and things that need to be talked about, especially in the dating. If you guys go back in your archive and look at our episode, I don't know what number that was, but dating.
Dating be like.
And
parts
it's
1 and 2.
Right. And we had a 2-part for that.
Yeah, we did.
Because that got real
had some
deep.
Things to talk about.
But especially now with everything happening in our society, our music industry, and people dating and all these things, I think oftentimes too, we forget to date or how to date. And then you could be dating for so long that you feel obligated now to be like, okay, let me wife this person.
Do people court? Courting?
I love your little country ass.
It's like Bridgerton.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am going to say this to our viewers is that have the conversation, but have it gracefully. Don't be like, sitting people down. So what is we doing? What's our title? Because I ain't got time to be waiting all this time.
But like, how do you even have that conversation? Like,
something normally triggers it. Something
because
maybe.
I feel like there's no other way to ask but to ask, like, what are we? Like, and I feel like that's the question that everybody tries to avoid asking, but
because they don't want to scare someone off. But
right, but at the end of the day, like, that's what it is. Like,
if that's what you feel inside,
like,
you're doing yourself a disservice by not having the conversation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, who knows? The worst thing they could say is no.
Thus creates a situationship.
I like that. Give me a takeaway.
Every situationship is situational.
Wait, what? I like it. Say it again.
Every situationship is situational.
Okay.
So don't let people judge you for being in or prolonging.
We've all been there.
You know, everybody's been in a situationship. Everybody probably has had an FWB, you know.
Who cares?
It's inevitable, I feel like.
I'm saved and sanctified and filled, so.
Really? Okay.
What's your takeaway?
I feel like to avoid situationships, communication is key. Honest and direct communication is key. You will save yourself heartache. Don't try to project your ideals onto people. Just take them where they are and go forth with the information in truth and knowledge and power.
Okay, period.
I love you're just so like
Period.
on it today. My takeaway will be
What?
just take it away. You know, if it don't fit, it must have quit.
So you don't have a takeaway?
I don't have a takeaway because
Not OJ,
I'm
child.
guilty of Beyonce dangerously falling in love, but I'm also guilty of being
That's
big.
why I said,
Don't
like,
get on
everybody-
Beyonce's internet. Bring in Beyonce.
Okay,
into
Beehive,
stuff.
I apologize. But I would say my takeaway is know what works for you. And if it don't work, then remove yourself. Even if it's emotionally just crumbling, as I'm looking at this crumble box of donuts, shout out to them. Even if it's emotionally crumbling to the other
I'm
people.
about tired of you spilling our tea, okay? I'm trying to project an image of health and wellness.
Oh,
and you over
that's
here
right.
exposing the fact that I
Healthy.
got crumbled cookies.
Those are yours?
Now
Oh,
she wanna
gosh.
act like she.
But outside of that, y'all, the situationships is a very touchy topic. Dating is a very touchy topic. So whatever works for you, especially in today's times, if a relationship is not working, then don't do it. Don't feel obligated to stay. Don't feel obligated to do it. But neither should you feel obligated to be like, well, this person really does care about me, so let me stay. Or
to
feeling like
say,
they're going to make it happen. Nita's going to really make her mind up and figure out what she wants, so I'm going to stay. So again, situationships is our focal point for today. I wish y'all well on this dirty dating journey, because it's not easy out here, especially with so much happening.
Yeah, it's rough in these streets.
It's
but,
rough in these streets.
It's a whole lot going on.
But you know, may the odds be ever in your favor.
And we're out.
To quote Hunger Games. Bye.